It gets you ready, right? So even if you're the worst runner, the worst basketball player, whatever it is, when you get all loosened up and you step out to do what it is, you should be able to hit the ground running and perform up to your capabilities, wherever those are. Well, when you walk in to take a test in college, unless the test is incredibly easy, and there aren't too many of those, when you sit down, the way you always want to think of it is, I need a mental warm-up before I get to the strenuous things, just like physically, and that's what this is for. So the first time through the test, if I had a camera on you, I should never see you do this. That's too strenuous, right? You just answer the easy ones, let the other ones go. I'm not warmed up yet, I'll get to them later, and stay very kind of relaxed and just get whatever you can get. And then when you go back later and you get to these, you are as calm as you're ever going to get. You're as confident as you're ever going to get because you've answered some questions right, and your brain is working the best it's ever going to, so now you can dive in and think hard and answer the more challenging questions. So that's the purpose behind that. Okay, and then how many do we have left in this example? 3. Okay, which ones are the 3? Yeah, whatever you were confused about, that's probably taken care of by now. So these are the impossible ones. Okay, now if you're taking a test with 50 questions on it and 3 of them look completely unknown to you, that's not too bad. If this is 13 or 23, you didn't study right, okay? But everybody has at least a few. So you remember I mentioned a few minutes ago, and you kind of helped me with this, most people when they get to an impossible question, fill in a bubble and get it over with. Actually, there are 2 really good reasons why it's a smart move for you as a test taker to wait till the very end to answer the impossible questions. One of them has to do with this, and I never know how to say this any better than this, but it is total luck. And what I mean by that is you've read all the questions once, you've read a lot of them twice, you're hoping that something in there causes this little light. It may just be a tiny light to come on where you say, wait a minute, I kind of do remember a little about that. And if you do, I don't think you'd still be able to know the answer for sure, but maybe you could eliminate a couple choices and make a more educated guess. Sometimes when you leave things to the end, you get lucky. Sometimes you don't get lucky. You look at it at the very end and think, yep, still have no clue. And so then you go ahead and mark it. But the second reason, which I think is even more important than that, has to do with time. Okay, and I want to give you a little illustration of this. I have heard this story or a version of it many times over the years from students. Okay, a student comes to me and they tell me that they just got a test back in one of their classes and there were 50 questions on the Scantron. When they got it back, they saw that dreaded pink line next to the number 49 and 50 and some other ones along the way, and they show it to me. Well, so what's the big deal with that? Well, here's what they say. They said, I wasn't paying attention to the time. So they didn't do that calculation I mentioned a little earlier. And they were on number 40 or so. And the teacher said, that horrible thing teachers say, 3 minutes. And then they looked down at and then they started reading the questions really fast and then going quickly. And you know what happens when you go quickly, right? Bad things happen. They looked at the test itself and they were so frustrated by the fact that they missed these 2 because these were 2 of the easiest questions on the test for them.